Hello there, my name is James Ponak, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Deeper with God. I'm standing in front of a construction site today, and I'm going to explain that in a moment, why that's important. You know, to grow deeper with God, there are many ways to grow deeper with God, but one of the ways is to learn to receive forgiveness. You know, sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the person you're looking at in the mirror. It's yourself, right? And once we've received God's forgiveness, we need to pass it on to other people. We need to show God's grace, you know, the grace that you've received, on to other people. I want to ask you, have you ever sang Amazing Grace? I'm sure you've heard it. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. You know, what an amazingly powerful song, and we sang it so many times. Have you really thought about it? God's grace is amazing. It's beyond what we can comprehend. It really is. You know, recently, I'm making this video about a week and a half after the slap that was heard around the world. You know, Will Smith was with his wife Jada Smith at the Academy Awards, the 94th Academy Awards, and Chris Rock is the host. Chris Rock makes a joke about Jada's hair being very thin, and he doesn't realize, or maybe he forgets, that she has alopecia, which is a condition that causes a woman to go bald, or maybe a man as well. And that's very hard for a man, but even harder for a woman to go bald. You know, it's a sensitive topic, but Will Smith laughs at the joke at his wife. But then he realizes, my wife's not laughing. I better do something about this. And he walks up to the stage and he slaps Chris Rock in the face. Not the right thing to do, not the right way to handle it. But here's the thing, not the end of the world. And yet, after the fact, everybody's jumping on Will Smith to criticize him and tear him down, especially those in Hollywood, which is amazing to me because I've never thought about Hollywood as having this high moral standard. You know, Hollywood's dark side is that it's known for marriages breaking up, adultery, it's known for addiction, and even for suicide. We can all be full of pride, forgetting how much grace we've received from God, or how much grace we need from God and from others. And so Will Smith, his life has become like this pile of rubble behind me, you know, in a sense. But the truth is, God forgives, God's gracious, He's amazing in that way. Can we not forgive? You know, truthfully, Will Smith has been, over the last few decades, one of my favorite actors. I like Will Smith, but in this moment of his life, we saw pain coming out of his life, and not just pain of the moment, probably pain of his life, coming out in a moment of emotion and not in wisdom. And he didn't do the right thing, but here's the thing, he knows that because he's asked for forgiveness. He said, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And people still want to jump on him even after he said he's wrong. You know, something amazes me in Hollywood. Years ago, Martha Stewart, you know Martha Stewart, the cooking lady, she had a cooking show, she has best-selling cooking books, very well-known, household name, Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart went to prison. I forget what it was for, it was years ago. Well, this past February in 2022, we had the Super Bowl, and we had all those expensive commercials. Who's in one of those expensive commercials? Martha Stewart. There she is acting again in front of a camera. Is she forgiven? I suppose she is. Is her career going again? I suppose it is. You know, it took time, but she was forgiven enough to have a career again. Right now, Will Smith, 52 years of age at this time, it looks like his career is over. Is it really? Well, I hope it isn't, because I've really enjoyed him in the movies, and I'm not going to hold one slap against him for the rest of his life. We need to learn to forgive people and to let it go, and not just tear people down so that they're destroyed. And we also need to learn to laugh about these things that happen in our life. I want to read you an amazing couple passages of scripture because I really want to drive something home to you today. Jesus died on the cross for the sins of the world, not for his own sins, for the sins of the world, for the sins of everybody. And I'm going to read you something from Luke chapter 23. Two others, both criminals, were led out to be executed with him, with Jesus. When they came to a place called the Skull, they nailed him to the cross. They nailed Jesus to the cross. And the criminals were also crucified, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Is that not amazing, as we say, mind-blowing? Jesus is forgiving all the people around him. He's forgiving us. He's forgiving the very people nailing him to the cross and the people supervising him being nailed to the cross. He's asking God to forgive them. Isn't that incredible? While he's in pain, while he's suffering. I'm just amazed. And then it says, and the soldiers gambled for his clothes by throwing dice. They don't even care about the Lord of glory or that he's forgiving them. He is asking for forgiveness for the gamblers. Well, let me fast forward to a story that you may not have thought about. When the Roman officer overseeing the execution saw what had happened, he worshiped God and said, "Surely this man was innocent." This Roman officer had probably never worshiped God in his whole life. But then he has this revelation where he looks at Jesus and he realizes, this man's innocent. He's not dying for his sin. He's not dying for his crime. And he worships God in that moment. I want to ask you, if Jesus can forgive people like that, can he not forgive Will Smith? Can he not forgive me? Can he not forgive you? Can we not also forgive people and show them grace? What an amazing moment in history. And this man had this revelation that led him to God. You know, it's not God's will to hold people down, making them guilty, condemned all their lives. No, you see this pile of rubble behind me in this construction site? You see, Will Smith's life looks like that right now. Maybe your life looks like that right now, or maybe you've been there. But you know what's happening here? They have torn apart this parking lot, and they've also torn apart the building that was Sears. They've destroyed what was. It got leveled. But now they are building up a new building that's going to be more beautiful than the old one. And people are going to forget Sears. They're going to forget the old parking lot. They're going to forget the pile of rubble. They're going to forget this yellow fence. And they're going to walk into Canadian Tire, the new store. It's going to be all shiny. They're going to buy things like they always did in that building. And all will be forgotten and they will move on. Can we not just forgive and forget and move on and allow people to be restored? Will you allow God to restore you? That's the question I have. And once you receive restoration and you receive forgiveness, then you pass it on to others like Will Smith, Jada Smith, the Academy, Hollywood, the people in your life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe. God bless you.